Welcome, deep divers. Today, we're plunging into something really urgent, the escalating Iran-Israel conflict, specifically what's been happening just since mid-June 2025.
Right. It's moving fast.
Exactly. So our mission here is simple: cut through the noise, give you the key developments from the source material, and help you grasp what this all really means.
And to do that, we'll look at, what kicked this off, the major escalations that followed pretty quickly, and then the wider ripple effects regionally and globally.
Okay, let's get into it. The spark. Seems like Operation Rising Lion on June 13th was the catalyst. Israel launched it.
Yeah, and it wasn't small. Over 100 strikes.
Wow. Hitting Iranian military sites, nuclear facilities, Tehran, Natanz, Isfahan mentioned.
And crucially, high-level targets. Senior IRGC leaders, nuclear scientists, they were deliberately targeted and killed.
That's a major statement. What was the immediate fallout on the ground in Iran?
Well, fear. Just 2 days later, June 15th, we saw huge civilian evacuations starting in Tehran. Reports of over 100,000 people heading north.
Just fleeing potential follow-up strike.
Exactly. It shows the immediate human costs, the psychological impact of that kind of opening move.
And Iran didn't wait long to respond. June 19th.
Correct. That's when an Iranian Sejil missile hit the Soroka Medical Center in Beersheba. Dozens injured.
A hospital? That must have really changed the conversation internationally.
It absolutely did. Huge outcry. Talk of potential war crimes started immediately. It really shifted the perception of the conflict.
And that seems to be when the U.S. stepped in more forcefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a few days later, June 22nd, President Trump gave the go-ahead for U.S. airstrikes.
Targeting Iranian nuclear sites specifically.
3 of them: Fordo, Natanz, and Esfahan. And the authorization wasn't subtle B-2 bombers, bunker buster bombs. A very clear signal.
Okay, so U.S. strikes Iran. How did Iran react to that?
With another major escalation. Waves of ballistic missiles. Drones, too, fired at Israel.
Hitting cities.
Yes, Tel Aviv, Haifa, Nestiona, Bir Yaakov.
Yeah.
Urban areas. Reports indicate maybe 80 to 100 Israelis injured, some quite badly.
And Israel's defenses, Iron Dome and the others.
They intercepted hundreds, apparently. But the sheer volume meant dozens got through. Caused property damage. Sirens reportedly failed in some places. It shows the scale of the Iranian barrage. And what's Israel saying now? Is this tit for tat or something bigger?
Well, the signals from their military leadership point towards a prolonged campaign, not just a limited response.
Right.
They're even apparently looking at hitting Fordo again themselves, that really fortified underground site, possibly while waiting for more U.S. coordination. It suggests a longer-term strategy is developing.
That definitely raises the stakes. So zooming out, how's the rest of the world taking this?
It's complicated. Within the U.S., there seems to be some division, calls for restraint versus pushing for more support for Israel. Internationally, the UK, the EU, the UN, they're all urging everyone to step back to de-escalate.
But not everyone is singing that tune.
No. Russia and China have condemned the strikes, particularly the U.S. ones, framing it perhaps as Western overreach. It adds another layer of geopolitical tension.
And what about the human side of things? Beyond those initial evacuations?
It's ongoing. Continued displacement in both countries, reports of hospitals being strained. We even saw India launch Operation Sindhu, pulling out around 110 of its citizens from Iran.
That really underscores the global nature, even on a personal level.
Yeah.
People caught in the middle.
Absolutely. And the big worry, the really critical risk, is this thing spreading.
You mean the proxies?
Yeah. Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, other groups in Syria, Iraq. They're all reportedly on high alert. Any one of them could open a new front.
Turning it from Israel-Iran into a much wider regional mess.
Exactly. And underlying all of this is the nuclear question, right?
Fundamentally, the U.S. and Israeli strikes are clearly aimed at least slowing down, Iran's nuclear enrichment. Fordo is key there because it's so heavily protected.
So the risk of miscalculation is huge. Wider war, strained energy markets, global supply chains. It's all connected.
Definitely. The instability is palpable.
So pulling this together, what does this mean for you listening right now? It means we're watching a highly volatile situation. The stakes are incredibly high: human cost, regional stability, the nuclear dimension, potential global economic impacts.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider how incredibly fast these things can escalate,
Yeah.
how interconnected everything is. These actions, even seemingly short-term ones, can have really complex, long-lasting ripple effects across the globe. Something to keep thinking about.